me, right? And then when I go to sleep, I realize the connection now. That little boy in the dream. Okay, how do I fucking explain this? I have to start back from the start now, right? From what I'm piecing together as I'm asleep, right? So, I told you guys already, there's certain things I can't say, right? But I need you guys to understand without me like saying everything, right? So, I told you guys, I don't remember which video, right? But I remember telling you guys this. I remember saying that God didn't make me, right? I told you guys this already. He holds on to, he technically, too much fucking technicalities. Technically, I'm his, but he didn't make me, if that makes sense. So, I don't know who's sitting around waiting to hear this, okay? Because like it's for me, this is nuts talking about because I have no one to talk about this shit with, except for the spirits. But like that makes me look even fucking crazier, right? Because who's gonna believe me? Anyhow, okay, a long time ago, I don't know how long in human time, right? Because on the spirit side, time is a human thing, right? Like how like here, I can't sense time, but I know when certain things are gonna happen. Um, yeah, I don't remember how long ago it was. It had to. It was for him. I don't know how God views time, but for him, it was a long time. Okay, probably when he was younger and much more stupid, but he's still just as stupid. I don't know how to explain. Anyways, yeah, long time ago, right? He made. He was. Oh my God, there's gonna be people who are gonna be so upset with me for saying this, but like, I'm just telling you what I saw. Don't come at me. Okay, so a long, long time ago, he made he made so like there are beings that specialize in certain things, right? For him, he's really good at like making us, right? Which is impressive to the other, I don't know, his peers. We'll call them that. Like for me, this is fucking mental trying to explain. Um, right? So like for them, they don't know how because I told you guys he's like an artist, right? So for him, um, it's impressive to the beings around him that he's able to make us, right? So a long, long time ago, he crafted like his favorite beings, right? I don't know if they're people. Like I can't remember, right? But I just remember him like he like after he made them, he like they were like everything to him, right? And then they went through I don't know what they went through because I didn't exist yet, right? Um so he cared for them more than anything. And then after a while, I don't know what happened. Like they were near death. Like they were like sad. Um, I can't. I don't know how to explain it. It's like watching what you love most struggle and like be in pain. Like that's what he was like. He like imagine what you cared for the most. Um, was like I don't know how I don't know how to explain this. Like he felt pain seeing his his favorite things in the world be in pain. Understand what I'm saying? So then this is where I come along in the story now, right? I don't know who's gonna believe me, but from what I'm seeing in my sleep, this is what like I remember. This was when my soul was freshly made, right? And this is what I'm telling you guys now. Um, so because they're in such pain, he's trying to find a way to like fix it, right? Because he's like he doesn't he it makes it's hurting him to see them hurt, right? So then he tries his best to make all the types of things to like bring them back to the way they were, but nothing's working. So then, right, he's like dealing with things like a madman at this point, trying, because he's worried like they're gonna disappear and gone, right? Because they're like, it's really fucking hard to explain. There was like a handful of them, but I remember at least two, right? At least three or four, but these ones were really important to him, right? So then he got to the point where he's like, I can't make anything, I can't create anything to save them, right? From this pain that they went through. Um I can't remember what happened in that part of the story because I didn't exist yet, right? So then he's like, okay, I can't do anything from my end. So he's like, okay, I I made them, right? And the things they had to go through caused them to go through this. So he's like, I'm going to make other things that can help me fix this. I hope that's making sense. I feel fucking crazy explaining this. So then he goes and he makes other beings, right? I guess people. I don't know. I think they were people, right? And then he had to wait a really long. He's struggling to keep them from disappearing, and he had to wait a really long time for these beings to finally make me, right? This is where I come into the story now, right? He couldn't make me. He needed like me to fix the problem here, but he couldn't make me. He had to make something to make me. Understood? So then after my soul gets made, because now my soul's too clean now, right? When he makes humans, like they're like anyhow. So he has no connection to me. He only cares that I can fix what's going on here, right? He only cares about them, right? He finally gets to the point where I come along now, I exist now. Takes me to them, right? And then I bring them back to the form they were in from the start when they were like happy and nothing went wrong. They didn't go through any pain, right? That was my purpose in life. My purpose in life when I came in was just to bring them back to life, like to take them away from death and bring them back to life, like restore them to what they were, right? But because my soul was fresh and just like was just made, I didn't understand the amount of pain they were going that was going on with, like, for me, like it was confusing because I like when I was around them, I always felt happy and good, like it was always a good time, right? But I never understood like them being in pain. So then it got to the point where like um how do I feel fucking crazy explaining this. Okay, you guys follow me so far? I know this is crazy. So like he's an artist. He's very skilled at making living things like us. He made I think they're people. He made people that like are his favorite, right? Something happened, they undergone pain, right? And he can't fix the pain on his own, so he had to make other things to make me to fix the problem there, right? But my soul was fresh, didn't understand the connection between him and all the difference there. I didn't understand what, because my soul was really happy at the time, right? I never had undergone any type of pain or anything, like nothing bad ever happened. So when I had to separate from them now because we were so close, right? Like we got along, we were so close. I remember by the end of it, right? Like this is the part of my memory that's kicking in now when I'm asleep. I remember separating from them and feeling pain for the first time, right? Because they were like my whole world, right? Um, I don't remember why we had to separate. That's what's annoying me. I don't remember where they went, what happened, but I remember them wishing me well and then placing me in a position. So remember, I'm talking about the staircase now, right? They placed me at the top of the stairs, not knowing that eventually I'd come down to the bottom of the stairs where I am now, right? So I don't know if they know all this shit that's happened to. I hope not, because that's really upsetting if they do. Right? So like to me, they matter to me more than anyone else. So I was upset when I got separated from them, but like I didn't understand all that crazy shit until like this point now, right? Um So then at that point when we separated and they put me at the top of the staircase now, right? God started to worry about me now. Right? He never cared about me until he realized I had some sort of value, I guess. I don't know. You'd have to ask him. I don't know that part of the story. I just know like at that moment he didn't want to let me go, right? Cuz he knew I'm going to end up in the same spot as them and there's nobody there to take me out of that, right? He can't do the same thing. Like if I undergo so much shit, like I'm done for. There's nothing to fix come like bring me back from, right? Bring me back from whatever shit I'm undergoing. So at that point, he got worried now because he's like, oh no. um, I told you guys there's other beings, right? Like the one in the moon. There's other ones too, but I can't talk about them. But one of them, I remember, I keep having this like this nightmare over and over. So like one of them, like I remember arguing with one of these beings, right? And because my soul was still fresh and I didn't understand anything. And I remember saying we're equals, right? And this male being looking at me, he's like, you. He kept telling me, he's like, we're not equal, right? You're beneath me or some shit like that. I remember hearing that and I remember saying, no, we're fucking equal. And now he came back to visit me the other night and he's like, Lisa, you were right. I was like, we are equal. And now because I've undergone all this shit, I was like, nah, you were right, bro. Like, I'm nowhere near your equal. So like now I'm really fucking upset every time I go to sleep and I see him. But like he's really irritating. So because now, okay, there's like a complication here now. Because God didn't technically make me, all of them want to take hold of me, right? Right? Because he didn't make me. He had to make something to make me. You understand? Like he indirectly made me. So I'm technically not his property, right? The only reason I stay with him is because he's the only one that grants me free will. Like he cares about like my choices, what I want, right? If I side with any other like being, they're just gonna tell me do this. Like they're gonna force me to do certain things, which is why I don't leave him. He's stupid, but like at least his like conscience is in a good place, okay? I told you he solved one problem and causes 10 more, but I have the opposite problem. I can solve 50 problems in one go, but I can't solve the main one, the one that like is the most important, which is what drives me fucking nuts. Which is also the reason why I don't ask any of the spirits for anything, because when it comes down to that last one, I need them all there to help me, right? Because it's important. And they cannot refuse me because I haven't asked them for anything else. So anyhow, yeah, I had that nightmare. He came to see me and he's like now he's not so as annoying as when I first met him because he's like he treated me like a, I don't want to say object, but he treated me as if like he could control everything I do, right? Whereas like with this God, he's just like, yo, like we could talk about, there's negotiation here, right? Like right now, he's telling me to come home. He told me not to continue to suffer here. But I told him there's stuff I need to do. And I was like, please just don't watch, okay? Right? Whereas the other one, if he saw shit going on, he would have already like forced me back by now. Right? But anyhow, point being, this God listens. Um. Oh yeah. So okay, get like coming back to the story now, right? So they were the most important people to me, right? And since going through all that shit, I don't have the need to like look for them, like trying to find someone you haven't seen for that's not the feeling. The feeling's more like I just want to know what happened to them, right? Like even if I never see them again, I just want to know what happened. And then now after having all of those nightmares, I understand why I can see this little boy now. I don't know like if they're dead or like what happened. I don't know what happened to them. That's what's like annoying me right now. I want to know what happened to them because they left this child in my care. That's why I didn't understand the importance of this child now, right? I was like, "Oh, I'm supposed to over they were no, yeah, they weren't people. They were of like a higher status than me cuz I'm human. I was human at that point, right? Um I don't remember what they were. I can't remember. I don't know if it's documented anywhere here. Anyways, yeah, they were of higher status than me. I think that's why God never looked at me at the first place. Anyhow, yeah, this boy now, when I saw him, I know he's not human. He's of higher status than me, but he's treating me like looking at him, he's treating me as an equal and of importance. Like he's the only thing I have left that I feel is mine. You know what I mean? I've lost everything but him. He's like the last thing I own. Um but we're not connected by blood. We're connected by our connection, that like weird connection, right? And I found it strange because when I dreamt about him, he was able to talk back to me. I remember like the I might have seen him when he couldn't talk, but I don't remember him being able to talk. So like having that dream was interesting. I don't know if they told him about me, right? So like that part is what's driving me nuts right now when I have these nightmares because I don't know what happened to them. And he's too young to explain to me what's going on, right? But he's talkative as hell right now. Um, and I don't know, like when I see him, if I'm able to go back to a place like that. Because mind you, like I'm not, cause I'm, they're all like higher up beings, right? Because technically I'm human, I'm not welcome there. Humans are looked at as like lowly beings, right? Which is probably why they put me at the top of the staircase because my soul was different. But anyhow, even if I even if I go back, I'm not gonna be welcome there, right? That's why I was like wondering why he asked me if anyone's bothering me or upsetting me because I didn't understand until now. I was like, oh yeah, you're not human. That's why. He's gonna make sure nobody makes me sad. Okay, so now coming around to the rest of the story now, right? Coming around to the rest of the story now. Um, so I'm hoping he doesn't know the story too. I don't want him because my story's kind of famous over there. I wish they would fucking forget it. It drives me nuts. I could have had a good fresh start if everyone just fucking forgot about shit. I told you guys what happened, right? Anyhow, I can't really remember much of it, but anyhow, he's the most important thing to me right now, right? He's all I have left from the starting point, right? So now everything's starting to make sense now. So God told me I'd overlook one spirit, right? And the spirit has no connection to me. And as I'm looking at this, like as I'm trying to piece this together, it's like this there is a connection. I found out that the spirit I'm gonna overlook now, because I was like, why would I have to overlook one, and especially one I don't know? But this one knows me, right? So he's all I have left. And the being I'm looking over, I don't think she's human. Or I don't know if she's the same as him. Cause I don't remember what they are, right? I know it sounds really fucking crazy. But anyways, she knows, so she came to see me, right? Not wanting to upset me, right? Because she's like, sorry for not telling you right away. And I was like, oh my fucking god. I'm so glad she didn't, because if she did, I would have cussed her. I would have cussed her. Because she said, um, she's gonna take over everything that was mine. She told me right now the most important thing is to build a foundation, because she can't do that. But she can do the rest. She said she'll take over the rest. So I don't know if her spirit is like how mine was for them, right? They like God had to wait a while for me to show up to help them. Now this spirit shows up in front of me. I don't know how long it's gonna be to come help me out right now, right? But I know for me, my soul's not gonna be there. But I don't know what happened to them, which is what's driving me nuts. But anyways, like she's connected to him. She's gonna take him from me. She told me to leave a piece of the thing that caused me the most pain. She told me to leave a piece of it in the base of the foundation of the place. I don't know if I'll get to visit it or not. I don't think my soul will come back. But she said just so they know it's not some silly story and there's actually some truth to the story. It's not some like made up myth or a legend or whatever the fuck. She said leave a piece of it there. She's not connected to me, she's connected to him, but he belongs to me. Along with all the other stuff she told me I she knows I don't want to raise back up to the staircase, but she told me get to the top of the staircase, gather everything that's mine, and then leave it for her to deal with. Because she said her having to gather up all my stuff and she doesn't know which what and what is mine, she said is a pain. And I told her I'll happily help her so long as, because he's the only thing I have left, right? If he's in pain, like I'm going to curse your ass. Right? I told her I don't care if you fuck up anything. If you fuck him up, like I'm coming after your ass, right? And she said, okay, that's definitely not gonna happen. And we're having this conversation while I'm asleep, and I was like, okay. So I woke up like in tears because I was like, I can't remember half of these things, but I can see both the past and the future happening. And I'm kind of annoyed now because I'm like, God told me to go if I want to go back now, because this might be the only time I get to spend time with him before she takes him from me. Because when I go back, I don't think I'll get any time to spend with him. I feel like I'll be on my knees all the time, right? Because I cared for them the most, and having someone like a piece of them still remembering, I don't know how to explain. It's just I couldn't stop crying when I woke up. So once I die from here, I'm gonna be in bird form, because to some of the beings I have to meet, I have to be in that form to go see them. And it's not even gonna be a long lifetime. For that, it's gonna be like in human time, probably a couple months. Because he said I can't last. I won't be able to last without eating properly. And he doesn't want me to undergo it, but I'm gonna do it anyways. I told you I can negotiate with him though, right? If it was any other being, it would have been like they would have forbade me from doing it. But anyhow, yeah, bird lifetime next. Then I don't know if I have to deal with her first or I'm gonna be Jeffrey's guardian next. And then I don't know if I get to spend any time with them or figuring out what happened there. And then I'm gonna get trapped in that space. Fuck. That's why God told me not to read now, because I'm gonna undergo so much of that shit later when I go back. But Flowers told me not to listen to him. He said read all the juicy human stories before you go back, because when you go back to deal with all the information there, he said it's so boring. He said do the fun stuff now, and I was like, oh my god. Because God told me not to read, right? I told you he said to stop reading books. But Flowers told me don't listen to him, just go and do do what you want. He said he's wrong most of the time anyhow. Yeah, so that's gonna end up happening. Bird lifetime, gonna get stuck looking through all the records. Then I have to go deal with Jeffrey. Then I don't know if I have any time with him when I go see him. And then I have to overlook her. And then that's the end of it. I don't know what happens after that. Oh yeah, you guys keep pointing out my eyes, right? If you haven't noticed, my soul's not completely human. To be able to do what I do. And then Ian's guardian came to see me, right? Because he said Ian's gonna. Okay, I told you guys this story already, right? Where like God didn't give me this ability, but he let me hold on to it. Yeah, and then Ian's guardian came and told me because that ability wears off when I'm next to somebody. I got that ability because I kept getting fucked over by everyone I came across, right? But Ian's guardian came and told me my soul's gonna return back to being human, meaning I'm gonna lose my ability to read, meaning Ian's not gonna fuck me over, right? So for me, it's both exciting and scary, right? Because I remember about like worrying about not being completely human, and now I'm worrying about being now I'm worrying about like going back to like it's so annoying. Like I've lived so long this way, like it's I can't even imagine going back. Because when I was at the start of it, I was worried about like going through this shit. Fuck. That's why God's not interfering. He's happy because he didn't like when I'm not completely. He likes it when I'm completely human. Right? I told you he can't make me, so he wants me to stay in the state I was when I was first there. So seeing my soul go back to human, he's happy. Anyways, that's gonna be scary when I lose my ability to read, because that means I'm not gonna trust half of you guys not to fuck me over. But anyhow, when I go back, anyways, the other beings now are interested in me because I'm technically a strong human now, right? For me to undergo everything I did and still be around is nuts, okay? I know some of you are looking at me like there's certain things I do, and it's like it doesn't lead to anywhere, right? Because in human life, you guys are aiming for, I don't know, money, fame, success, that kind of shit, but for me, that doesn't matter to me, right? I'm looking at how that'll affect me when I go back. You understand? Because you're like, oh, Lisa, you don't want this, this, and this. I was like, it doesn't serve me any way, shape, or form when I go back. Like, oh, I could have like, you know, all the money in the world, all the fancy cars, but that's all human shit. Like, that's not gonna help me when I go back. Yeah, so now like I have these nightmares now where all these other beings are taking interest in me because technically I'm not God's property, but I'm siding with him because he's the only one that's not forcing me to do anything against my will, right? Like I don't have to like I don't know how to explain. But I still feel uncomfortable with him because he's a man, right? Like we can't have like real open conversations without worrying or like stressing over some shit with him. That's why I was happy when I had my vacation home, but now I can't even go back there because there's always some shit happening. The moon goddess likes Ian a lot. She told me to look for the boy associated with lightning. I didn't understand what that meant. And now I keep seeing it. Like, I don't understand what it means. But anyhow, I haven't gotten a chance to talk to her. It's been so long. But it's kind of crazy, like, the sun's worrying over me. Like, that being, like, he's in, oh my god. I prefer when she comes to see me. I don't like when the rest of them come and see me. Like, you know how, like, sometimes you see the moon during the day, and that's normal? I'm starting to see the sun at night, which I find fucking mental. He's worried. That's why I can see him now. I'm like, I'm good. I'm okay. There's, like, I don't know how many spirits near me. You can go. You can be on your merry way. Anyhow. Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of beings now looking at me. Some of them are considering me equal now. Some of them want to control my ass. I don't know if all of them side with me. Anyways, that's the crazy story. I keep having nightmares. I keep waking up somewhere else. Okay. You guys keep pointing out my eyes and whatnot, right? So I don't know if you can tell. I've given you guys so many hints. If you can tell what the inhuman part of my soul is. I remember certain lifetimes. A lot of those lifetimes, you guys, humans technically find me really scary, right? I don't know if I should give you more hints. But then it's even more crazy if you figure it out because you're like, Lisa, prove it. But I can't. Like, it's hard. Being able to adapt to my environment is an important one. That's why you guys keep focusing on my clothes and things, right? Yeah, I thought you guys would figure it out by now by looking at my eyes. I find it really scary now when I'm at work now. I tell you guys every time, like, I'm really, like, fucking unhappy, like, I feel like I'm near death. Right? You know when I'm feeling hella suicidal? That people start telling me I look really pretty. And then one day, I was in the office. And I was talking to Michelle. Right? And Michelle's like, Lisa, did you dye your hair or something? She's looking at me and she's like, your eyes and hair look lighter. And I was like, we're in the building and there's like no sunlight or anything. I was like, fuck. Or my, like, I was like kind of panicked at that point. I was like, is the inhuman part of my soul showing now? I was kind of scared. Because I never want any of them to find out that I can read, right? Because it's too long of a story. Who's gonna believe me? And it's fucking crazy. Like, they're gonna. You know what I'm pissed about with Michelle? She said I look 12. She said, okay, so she said I look 12, right? And then Brown Jesus, I told you guys he's worried. He told me to watch out for guys hitting on me, right? Because he said, these men are dogs. I remember laughing so hard when he told me that because I was like, interesting statement. I don't agree with it. But I found it really interesting that he said that. And I was like, man, where weren't you there when I was in uni? This would have been a great thesis statement for me. I could have written a whole essay on this shit. But anyways, nobody bothers me, right? Because everybody knows, Trev already told them I'm off limits, right? So like I can really do whatever I please. And then if like anybody that knows Trev or my dad or any of them, strict is a nice way of putting it, but like um yeah, if you know them, you know how much of a jackass both of them are, so you wouldn't fuck with them. So him telling them I'm off limits allows me to freely do whatever I want, right? So no one really bothers me. But then there's these one or two guys that'll come up and think they have a shot with me, and then I tell Brown Jesus, and he's like, "Ew, Lisa, why would they hit on it?" It pisses me off, and I was like, "I know these guys are so ugh." Anyways, yeah, it pissed me off because I was like, "Ew, Michelle, don't tell me I look 12," because having these men look at me, it just makes me feel sick. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god. I worry too because Trev was there before me, right? And all these people, I worry that I'm gonna do something, like something will happen. Like I have to watch what I do so I don't end up affecting my brother, right? I don't want to cause him trouble just because like I'm so freaking weird, right? Like I have to watch what I say. I have to watch how I behave. That I was worried about my eyes and my hair that day. Um, there's certain things. It's annoying. I'm always worried about how it's gonna affect my brother. Like the boss said, I was so mad. I went into his office. Well, I didn't go into his office. I was talking to one of the other girls in the office before I was going off on my break, and then I heard him say something because his door, like I like with him when he's in his office, if the door is not open, um, it means he's busy, right? So don't come in. But when the door is wide open, it's like you're free to walk in and out whenever you please, right? But with my supervisor, his door is always locked. So I was like, I don't feel welcome to come in here and chat with him. Anyways, so his door was wide open right when I was about to go for break because I was talking to her and then I was just gonna walk by, but I started hearing him talk, right? And then I got really pissed because he said, Lisa, you're like, for someone so young, you act so old, right? Which is another thing I find irritating. Like they're piecing things together, but they're not understanding. Um, and I told him I'm taking lunch at like because they all go right before we have to leave work, and I go right when we like start work, right? And I told him that's how I stay this young and youthful. After he called me old, I was so pissed. Um, And then the other reason too why I take lunch at that time is so like the others don't like fuck with my brother, right? So I was like, I gotta go and make sure he eats. I worry like he does, because when I met Aaron said Trev used to skip. He wouldn't eat. Like he would skip meals, and then I was really upset when I heard that, and I was like, there's no fucking way. If he's not gonna if he's gonna eat, he's gonna eat with me, right? Because I'm used to my brother's flow of energy, right? So I can tell if something's wrong, right? The food's gonna taste really bad, and a lot of the times when I can't, Aaron's looking at me like, Lisa, how come you can't eat? Because I can feel something wrong here, right? Anyways. And I remember telling Yogi, I was like, oh, I'm gonna make sure Trev goes and eats, right? And Yogi's like, what are you, his mom? And I was like, you dumb bitch. Like, this is why, like, they're so annoying. They're like, Lisa, that's like overly excessive. And I was like, at least I care for my brother. Your brother up and fucking left you. What do you want me to tell you? Ugh. And then Aaron's got no one either. His sister up and left him too. You guys keep getting cucked and you wonder why. Anyways. I had a nightmare too. Because Trev's guardian never comes to see me. And I felt like a sinking feeling in my stomach. This might be the last time I get to spend any type of time with my brother. I feel like something terrible is gonna happen. So like I'm being overly clingy with him. Like I've been spending more time with him, and they're looking at me like, Lisa, what in the fuck? And I was like, I feel like I don't know when will be the last time I'll be near him, right? Like I feel that sinking feeling. Because his guardian never comes to speak to me, but I could feel his presence in that moment. I was like, either he's gonna get into an accident at work, like it feels like something. Like I felt like, I told you guys I'm always in the car with him, right? And I told you guys cars are like metal caskets, right? I told you guys this. I have a strong feeling he might die in the car. So every time I'm in the car, I told you guys I can't die in it, right? Because he said, why does it feel like nothing goes wrong when I'm there? Um, so now it's shifted from him dying in a car or him dying at work. It's like a work related thing now, right? Because now I'm really trying to counteract the energy instead of them taking him from me, because that's what's gonna end up happening. I can feel one by one they're gonna take them back from me.